Well, again, Jim Jacobus. Hope this finds you guys as well. Welcome to Your Marriage Matters, episode number 124. And I got to tell you that Christie and I are wrapping up a very long trip. If you're keeping up with us, that took us from Dallas-Fort Worth up to Maine, down to Myrtle Beach, and now back to Dallas-Fort Worth here in just a couple of days, where we'll land for about 6 weeks. And during the process, we did our webinar, Tough Talk for Tough Times, and we've been using some of the contents from that webinar for the podcast and for the YouTube channel. So today we're going to talk about the power of having a shared vision. And certainly we would not be on this journey that we're on, full-time living in an RV and everything, if we did not have a shared vision for it. And we're going to talk a little bit about, in this particular episode, how we got there and how you and your spouse or your family can create shared visions that can, again, take you further than you even dreamed of. We're already further than we dreamed of and having more fun than we thought we were going to have. So we want the same thing for you. So welcome to Your Marriage Matters, episode 124, The Power of a Shared Vision.
So the last thing that we want to talk about with y'all today is having that shared vision, having an opportunity to kind of say, okay, what's going to really matter in our lifetime? And in the last couple of months, we've been asked this question probably more than anything. Have you lost your minds? Who would go from a 3,000 square foot house in a beautiful community? We loved our neighbors. We went to great churches. We had a lot of wonderful people that were around us. There's a picture of our house in Sugar Land. We loved it. It had 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. I love the swimming pool, especially during the summer. And we'd lived there 15 years. And not only was it our house, it was our home and all the things that come along with it. And then we transitioned that to our Joy Hauler, which now we have 1 bedroom, or maybe kind of 1.5 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, about 430 square feet. So when a time when most people were doing everything that they could, were kind of tired of being around each other, we went to being around each other a lot more and spending a lot of time driving into the vehicle, because like I said, there's a lot of time on the road when you're coming up to Maine. So, and there's a picture of our, what we call the Joy Hauler, or if you see the truck that I couldn't think of a while ago, that's the Beast, and the RV is the Beauty. So the reason why,
for those who are curious, babe, that is a Ram 3500 diesel DRW, that stands for dually rear wheel, 4-wheel drive, black, got amazing technology in it, and it is a beast of a beast of a beast. So for the men out there listening who are going, tell me more about the truck.
And then you see our other travel companion. You can see Marley, our sweet little yellow lab, which is sitting at my feet right now. So the last thing that we want to introduce is something that Jim came up with in the middle of the night one night. And it's an acronym that I think is so helpful when you're trying to make a big decision. Or you know, a decision about, you know, what's your life going to be about? How do you have a vision? Do you create a vision board? I love that idea. I think that is just something, a vision that you can actually put your hands on and see. So Jim's going to walk us through a process that he came up with.
Yeah, and we've been asked a lot, how did you make the decision to do this? And we're actually going to be teaching some of that in the future. Really excited about that. The long story short is we had bought a travel trailer Valentine's Day a year ago on a lark from a family member of Christie's. It was not something that was on our radar screen. We weren't big campers or anything like that. I think we went on 2 different camping trips in tents, and both of those were very uncomfortable. So it's not like we were big outdoor camper people, but we took a chance on something, which I think there's a whole story in that. We bought the travel trailer, and I think we went camping like 5 or 6 out of the next 8 weekends. We fell in love with it. The first weekend we went camping, was rainy and cloudy and cold, and we didn't know how to use the camper, and we had a problem the first night. We thought it was the camper. It wasn't. It was the campground electricity. It wasn't like it was an amazing experience, but it was an amazing experience. We loved it. And then we had 2 or 3 more trips that were fantastic. And about 3 months in or 4 months in, we were camping. And one night, Christie asked me, she said, do you think we could live in one of these? And here's a little tip for you, gentlemen. When Christie asked me the same question the 3rd time, she's serious. And I said to her, I said, you're serious? She goes, yes, I'm dead serious. And my answer was, oh, yeah, absolutely we could. And so that was the beginning of this acronym that we're using now called IDEA. That was our inspiration. And we're going to kind of circle back that to in a minute, if you will. But we got inspired. Christie was inspired. I had inspiration at the same time from her. Then we did what we call the D. We started discussing it. And I think too many times this is where couples bail, is in the discussion phase. And we discussed it and discussed it and discussed it and discussed it. And nowadays I hear people that make the same kind of decision we did, and they're very unhappy with it. And I want to go, I can promise you, you didn't discuss it enough. You didn't talk about it enough. You didn't go through, what are you looking for? What do you want to get out of this? And we both have different reasons for doing this. We have a lot of the same reasons, but we both have very different reasons for doing it. And then once we discussed it, there was a time I asked Christie, I said, okay, we've been talking about this now for a while. I'm ready to do some things. Tell me you're all in. And she goes, I'm all in. No, I'm all in. From the beginning, I'm all in. And so then we really started doing a lot of education, a lot of research, and we found some great YouTube channels out there. We found some great podcasters. I think no matter what you want to do in life, there are all kinds of amazing resources. And we started following 3 or 4 of these YouTube channels, and we were learning from them. And that helped us make decisions about what we wanted to do in the future. Baby, I'm going to guess we walked up the stairs and in and out of maybe 100 different RVs of every size and shape you can imagine. And kind of narrowed it down, and then we blow it back up, and then we would narrow it down. So we did tons and tons of education, which is why I think, again, here we are 3 months into full-time living in this thing, and we go, no, I would still have bought the same one again, because we took the tons and tons and tons of time to educate ourselves before we made the decision. We spent almost as much time educating ourselves on the truck. There's all kinds of options for trucks out there. But then there came the day where we had to take action. All right. We had to take action, and we did. For those of you who are family listening to this, you know we did some things that I know people thought we were crazy. Here's a little insight for you. Christie and I have probably asked ourselves a dozen times in conversation with each other, are we crazy? Christie asked me one day, she goes, are we crazy? And I go, yes, we're absolutely crazy, but it's the kind of crazy I want to be. Jason, when we first told him, was like, you're going to do what? And then he called, saying, my apology, it took me back. First things first, that is so you and Christie. I'm excited that you're not going to just move to Dallas and buy a house and retire and dwindle away. I'm glad you're adding a new chapter to your life. And that's what we've done. So it took inspiration, discussion, education, and action. We wanted to land on the inspiration part for just a second here. Christie and I are not always inspired by the same things, and you won't be either. Christie's inspired to ride the MS-150. I have no desire to sit on that tiny little bicycle seat with my big behind for 150 miles and not be able to walk for a month. I know that's what would happen. I'm glad to support her inspiration, and I do fully. Christie has no desire to drive with Jason to Saskatchewan, Canada, and sit in a deer blind for 18 hours a day, 6 days in a row, hunting deer in the snow. Not on her radar screen, but she fully supported my inspiration and desire to do that. When we have something that we are inspired by, we need to do inspiration, discussion, education, but when it's ready to take action, let's get behind our spouse. We're very fortunate, and this was something we were both inspired by. And that is when a marriage really experiences some amazing things. Because when you both have inspiration and then you start the discussion, and by the way, we didn't have to buy the RV and go camping in it to enjoy it. We started enjoying it the moment we got inspired. We would sit out at a campfire in our first trailer and talk about living together and traveling the country and where did we want to go and what's on our bucket list. We got inspired when we would discuss these things. We got inspired when we were doing the education part and looking at RV after RV after RV. And then once we pulled the trigger, we were inspired to take the action that it took. So that acronym literally did come to me in the very middle of the night. And we're going to be using this to teach others how to make decisions, how to follow inspiration. And we encourage you to go through the same process as well. And if you're in the middle of it and you need help, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
So the final thing that we have is, as everybody knows, I always say there's homework to make your homework. So we have a couple of questions here that are a good opportunity for discussion for you. So there's 6 great conversations there. The first one is one thing I would like to do. One thing I would like for us to find common ground on. That can be an inspiration. The next one that you could have, and you can do all 6 of them, be an overachiever. The next one that's up there is.
Sorry.
Really,
this was. You want to do it? You want me to?
I really feel loved when you fill in the blank. Remember how we said earlier, use those I statements. I feel, I want, I need. So that's number 2. Why don't you do number 3?
Okay, number 3 is I would like to see us take a closer look at our spending on. We originally had this kind of worded a little differently, reduce spending on, but it may be increased spending on something that you're getting a lot of value out of. So I'd really like to see us take a closer look at our spending on. And then this is the question Jim added to the deck here. In the bedroom, could we?
Please.
Could we? In the bedroom, could we? We did a podcast on sex and how to hot monogamy and things like that. I would tell you want to go back and listen to those. Those are really good. And then number 5 is the one thing I think would make us a better team is, and then share that with your spouse. These are conversations we want you to have. Babe, I'll let you take the last one.
And then the last one is, what's that one inspiration or that one thing you have on your bucket list that you really want to do? I think it's different for everybody. I'd love to hear what people have on theirs. It inspires me. And then a lot of times I'll think, oh, that's a great idea. I want to do that too. So have that conversation with your spouse. I was told that tonight is the vice presidential debates. And so in the interest of time, we'll stick around. We'll answer any questions that you have. I think we're going to open up the mics. So you can either type it in or you can actually come online and ask it.
We're not going to open up the mic. Yeah, we're not going to open up the mics. Just type it into the Q&A section there. That will get too noisy.
Oh, okay. Okay. But guys, before But before we get the question and answers, though, thank you so much for spending the time with us this evening. Thank you for your support and encouragement. I saw the Thrutchleys are on here. I just see the name, so I'm so glad y'all are here. I had told Jim I wanted to interview you in one of the podcasts because of inspiration and a conversation that we had one night at dinner at the Greek restaurant that all of a sudden, Fadi. So anyway, so thank you all for being here tonight, and we'll open it up for questions.
So just type it in the question section, if you will. Let us know what you've got to ask, or if you want to go see the vice president debate, we certainly understand that. Feel free. Know this, we will send you a copy of this, link to the replay of this if you want to go back over it. So let's see what we have in the chat. All right.
Oh, there's a couple.
See, babe, you know, every now and then Jim gets it right. Somebody said, I panicked when you said you would open up the mics, crazy kids.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot about that. So, isn't life in the world of Zoom though so fun?
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Questions. And again, we're not going to belabor this. We're not going to sit here and beg you to ask a question or anything. So if we want to split, we will. All you got to do is just X out of the deal and go. Hi, Stacy. I saw you on there, kiddo. How you doing? Thanks. So glad to have you here. I miss you guys.
That's weird. The only person I can see in the little screens is Jim and Crystal and Ross. That's the only ones I could see.
I think your mom's on here, babe. Checking up on us.
My mom is? Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Mom, you should be teaching this. People who've been married for over 60 years. I could say once before, I'm going to screw this one up so bad, but once before at one of the weddings, my parents were the couple that had been married the longest. And so they asked my dad something about what's the best marital advice. I guess my family gets asked that question a lot. And my dad said something, he always has the last word in every argument. And the word is, "You're right, dear." So anyway.
I got nothing. I got nothing. Your dad's a wise man. So, Amy, thanks a lot. You guys go check out the debate. We're going to be there watching it in just a few minutes ourselves. So. Well, babe, I think we're going to wrap this up. Here's our contact information. I want to make you guys aware, please, please, please check out the podcast. And if you haven't seen this, we now have a YouTube channel. So we are videoing the podcast. We're putting it up on YouTube. You can find it under Your Marriage Matters. If you want to see Christie's beautiful face once a week, you're welcome to do that. We take the audio from that, and that's still our podcast, so we're doing that as well. And if you have not joined our Facebook group, please do that. Your Marriage Matters on Facebook. We'd love to have you there. We do have a brand new website coming out, and we already do have another a webinar plan, so we'll let you know when we're going to be doing that. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. Thank you all for the privilege of being here with you this evening. Thanks for your support, your encouragement. And I will tell you, I know we say this every time, so I know I'm saying it with Christie's full blessing. If there's ever anything we can do for you and yours or anybody you know that might need help, don't hesitate to let us know. We love you, appreciate you, and we feel God called us to do this work, so we're glad to help in any way we can. So with that, we love you all. We appreciate you. Have a good evening. We'll catch up with you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.